When the massive steel doors groaned open at Research Site 9, the soldiers instinctively raised their weapons, though deep down they knew it would make no difference. She ducked slightly to pass through, even at 12 feet tall, her posture graceful, almost regal. Her skin shimmered with a metallic bronze hue that rippled like liquid under the artificial lights. Her eyes were obsidian, gleaming with intelligence, and unlike anything the humans had encountered. She was unlike the others her kind had sent before. Drones, soldiers, scouts. No, this one moved with authority. She wasn't a visitor. She was the verdict. Captain Juno Kessler stood at 5 feet 8, tall by Earth standards, but she might as well have been a child next to the alien towering before her. Her team flanked her, some wide-eyed with awe, others paralyzed by a primal mix of fear and fascination. The creature didn't speak at first. She simply looked at them, one by one, studying their movements, their gear, their mannerisms like a teacher assessing students on the first day of class. Then, without warning, her voice resonated not through sound but directly into their minds. You will no longer speak for this planet. The words were calm, firm, not angry. It was the confidence of someone who didn't need to threaten. She simply was the threat. Kessler stepped forward, chin high. Identify yourself, she ordered, voice clipped, professional. The alien's gaze shifted to her, and the mental voice echoed again. I am Virella, daughter of Vornuk, speaker of the Merge. Your governance has ended. Observation confirms the collapse of planetary stewardship. This world is now under intergalactic custodial authority. The words hit like a brick wall. Custodial. Kessler snapped. This is Earth. We are not some abandoned building. Virella's towering frame leaned slightly forward, casting a shadow across half the team. You polluted your atmosphere, fragmented your species into warring factions, and commodified survival. Your stewardship failed. Now, order will be restored. One of the Marines whispered, Holy hell, she's not invading, she's auditing us. The room went quiet. Kessler took a breath and tried a different tone. There are billions of people on this planet. You can't just take control. Virella straightened again. You misunderstand. We do not conquer, we correct. Your voice, while loud, is no longer relevant. A screen behind them suddenly flickered to life unprompted, and began cycling through images: floods, forest fires, war zones, oil fields, starving children, stock market crashes. Then it shifted again to graphs, spiking temperatures, species extinction, economic inequality, and finally it showed the Earth, fragile and pale, spinning silently in the void. Virella didn't gloat. She didn't need to. The truth was louder than any boast. Still, humans resist by nature. Kessler held her ground. So what? You're going to rule us. Replace our governments with your own, Virella replied. Your governance has already collapsed. We will implement a model of order and sustainability. Non-violent, efficient, and objective. Kessler's fist clenched. That sounds like tyranny with extra steps. A soft hum spread from Virella's forma. Sort of empathic pulse. You confuse freedom with indulgence. You have engineered a society that feeds on self-destruction. I offer you survival. There was a pause. Then Private Santiago, the youngest of the squad, asked a question no one else dared. Why now? Why didn't you come sooner? Virella turned to him. Because now, you would listen. Suddenly, the base lights flickered. Outside, dozens of dropships descended from the clouds, but they didn't deploy soldiers. Instead, they released vast swarms of silvery nanobots that began rebuilding broken infrastructure. Roads fixed themselves. Power grids rerouted energy to hospitals and schools. Drones scanned oceans, gathering data, cleaning plastic, reviving coral. The world wasn't being taken, it was being repaired. But the control wasn't human anymore. Global leaders were locked out of their systems. Satellites realigned, but not on Earth's command. Financial institutions found their firewalls obsolete. Elections paused. Borders blurred. Virella never once lifted a hand. Her authority was absolute because it didn't come from weapons. It came from function. Within hours, human resistance groups mobilized across continents. Protests turned to riots. Tanks rolled through streets, but every violent act was met not with retaliation, but with redirection. Firearms jammed missiles rerouted, explosives turned to dust. Virella's forces had no need for killing. They simply invalidated violence as an option. In every confrontation, the humans found themselves outmatched it by strength, but by restraint. And that restraint was terrifying. "She doesn't want to destroy us," Kessler whispered during a global transmission briefing. "She wants to make us irrelevant." That realization hit harder than invasion ever could. On the 7th day of occupation though, by then, the term felt outdated. Virella summoned Kessler alone to a massive platform overlooking what used to be the Pentagon. It now resembled a temple of light and data, humming with activity. "You have questions," Virella said aloud this time, her voice deep and resonant. Kessler stepped forward. "What happens to us now?" Virella looked to the sky, where orbiting satellites she now controlled cast soft glows across continents. "You may still live, you may learn, but you will not lead. Your species has not earned that right." Kessler looked down. "What about freedom? What about hope?" Virella paused. "Hope is not a strategy, but we will keep it alive. In the same way we protect endangered species." Kessler turned to her, expression wounded. "So, we're a project now?" Virella nodded slowly. "You were always a project. You simply forgot who the architects were." As Virella walked away, her 12-foot frame vanishing into the blue-lit corridors, Kessler remained standing on the platform. Below, she could see Earth healing whether it wanted to or not. Factories repurposed, farmlands rejuvenated, cities restructured. There were no more presidents, no more campaigns, no more wars. There was only equilibrium. And somewhere deep in the hearts of humanity, that truth stung worse than any weapon. Because the aliens hadn't conquered Earth with bombs or bullets. They had taken away the illusion of control. And in doing so, they had revealed the one thing humans feared most: accountability.